Hello, 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 hello. Thanks for coming through, Curvies. Curvies. Thanks for coming through. You know, it's Sunday, April 7th, Aries season. We're having an Aries solar eclipse tomorrow. The path of totality is upon us. And I just wanted to come on here and talk about how Faith Stower, who we've already discussed here, Curvies, you know I go deep on Bravo because it's a love-hate relationship with them, As Prosperity Thick Girl 40 would tell me, why do I even do it? If it makes me this mad, why do I do it? Because in other places it entertains me. But I don't feel like my entertainment should have to be a triggering event. Okay? And as a viewer, on some of these shows, I've been a little triggered. Okay. No, it's not okay, actually. And you know who else it's not okay to? Faith Stower. Okay. I know it's not okay. She knows it's not okay. And we know it's not okay. Can we hear me okay? Let me see. Yes, we can hear me okay. Okay. So, you guys, there is so many things happening with this 2024 so far, right? So many things are being revealed that there were rumblings of, but for the most part, it was like, shh, don't say that out loud, too loud. We don't want everybody talking about it. Yet, finding it interesting what everybody's talking about, because that could be being talked about. Just like over there with Robin, right? Who's going to be on Real Housewives of Potomac Part 2 reunion tonight. And Robin is going to have the chance to what? Deflect and not talk about what she could be talking about, but talk about something else. So it's like, as a viewer who's evolved past my Jerry Springerism, because we all have that phase, the Maury Povich phase, where we couldn't wait to go home and ingest some Maury Povich, some dysfunction, where we couldn't wait to get home and go watch Jerry Springer, some dysfunction, But then, like, you kind of like evolve as a person and you decide you don't want that much drama and negativity in your life. And maybe you don't have to, ingest that for entertainment. So then you get to these reality shows that were supposed to be about, fabulosity, kikiing, traveling, fashion, you know what I mean? And hopefully some activism and philanthropy, about growing up in the world today. Some shemazel, Heads Events Incorporated, 2000 style. You know what I'm saying? And it starts off like that. But then there's this thing that's happening behind the scenes. And as the viewers who are like, a little like, I don't know if it's empathy that makes some viewers be a little triggered on behalf of who we see on these reality shows. And when we find out how they've been being treated behind the scenes. And that energy was translated via the television to me as a viewer, where I was like, oh, that's exactly what I thought was going on. I thought I sensed some racism. You know what I'm saying? But then to find out the depths to which these melanated goddesses have experienced a form of terrorism at work. I know that's a big word right now. Let me bring it down. A form of abuse, harassment, hostileness as an environment that you have to be in order for you to have a livelihood for your family or to have somebody to party with. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's okay. But whatever it is, you shouldn't have to like endure abuse. And I know I hit the ground running today. Happy Sunday. Thanks for coming through, Curvies. I hope you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button on your way in. If you haven't already, you know what we say. Let me drink a little coffee. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Yeah. That's my little I do a little share with Elton John in there. I know. That's who I have. That's what. Don't judge me. I don't judge you. There's enough to go around. So Bianca's in the house. Thanks for coming through. She was first. Corey Berman's in the house. Right on. Thanks for coming through. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Mamere. Yes, you guys. The solar eclipse tomorrow is a fabulous opportunity for people who might want to try and experience some things that could be beneficial to the energy flow that they're about to partake, because it's going to be like a transformative time. And there's opportunities I know, hey, I'm a California girl, grew up in the streets of Berkeley. I was, granola, Birkenstocks, divergent thoughts. Okay. Anyway, so there's like a complete opportunity to jump timelines, you guys. A complete opportunity to the degree where if you today, write down everything you want, everything. Don't think about any hindrance to it. Only intend on receiving it and feel the feeling that you're going to feel when you get it too. Because this intention is so embedded in you. Okay. And then write it like that. And like I sprayed mine with some nice water that I have. And you can too. And even Heart of Inspiration was doing a live yesterday, and I had already done this. And she said one of the rituals that a person could do for this is exactly what I'm saying, which is write down everything you want. The bigger, the better. The more magnificent, the more huge, the more magnanimous, the more far-fetched. The more far-fetched, the better. The crazier, the better. The most optimal version of, beyond your most wildest, imaginist, tiny human mind dreams. Write that down. Write that down. Write down 100 acres, 15,000 square foot family compound, self-sufficient, self-sustaining, with everything you need to thrive and live. Write that down. If that's what you want, write it down. For all your family to be healthy and thriving, not just surviving during these times where it's a plot. There's some stuff going on. Why is gas so high? Why is food triple the price? I thought there was a law against price gouging during an emergency. Like we're literally in the thingy and everything doubled? Really? I swear there was a law against that. I could swear there was a law against that. I could swear there was a law against charging $23 for a roll of toilet paper during a emergency. I could swear. But for some reason, everything's double, triple. You come out of Safeway with 12 items and you spend $45. $45. Here in California, they charge us 10 cents a bag to take your shit out the store, y'all. Now you can take your bag inside, but during the demic, they were not like, no, leave your things, your germs at home. So they also gave away the bags for free during that time because, yeah. But now that everything's back to normal, if you want a bag, it's 10 cents. If you want a real sturdy bag, it's 25 cents. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Even at restaurants, they'd be like, you want a bag? Okay. 10 cents extra. Yep. It can happen. So anyway, we're here today on LRGA Curves. Thanks for coming through. Smash all my buttons. You know how much I love smashing. You know how much I do. Okay. So I would love it if you smash my buttons. And I would love it if you ring my bell, because that way you'll get notified next time I upload a video. Okay. And like when I go live like this, because I had been intending to do this for some days now. And with everything energetically that's going on, I wasn't really sure if I could do it without all this freaking Okay. But sometimes is what is required. Okay. 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 Yes. So, you know what? Before we get into Faith Stowers specifically, I want to just establish the timeline that I am hoping to jump collectively as melanated women in society. Okay? Because Nene screamed it, and we were like, you're too loud because you've been too loud. Okay? Wrong messenger. And plus, nobody else in your cast is stepping forward. Okay? And then we had some other people do some things and use words like discrimination. And yeah, nobody has, but some people do. So we're seeing this pattern emerge since Nene had the cojones, as it were, to put Bravo on Front Street, is something I would have said back in 1987. Oh, why you gotta put me on Front Street like that? That means I put your business out there for all to see, like your dirty laundry, or yeah, your business, but not the business you stand on. Oh my gosh, there's so many vernaculars. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so we're gonna have to look at empirical facts on the bed from which Nene Leakes' suit happened and went unanswered, and Faith Stowers had previously spoken up. It went unanswered, and she was as triggered as I was seeing Jax Taylor and Kristen Dowdy on Bravo screens time again. During stuff, I had to look at commercials with Jax Taylor and Kristen Dowdy, the two racists. They got fired for being racist, for showing their racist slip openly, waving it for all to see. Hey, it's freedom of speech. I'm with freedom of speech, and I'm with consequences too. I mean, there's just some shit you can't say. I get it. But you can say it. But you can't say it. You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. I know you do. I know you do. So now we have Faith Stowers being as triggered as we were seeing these two. And then for Kristen, and by like the second episode, the one who was calling the police on Faith Stower. Look, I made a video clip. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, I'm in here already. Okay, if I do that. Wait. Okay, wait. No, not that. Okay, I do this. I have to go up here to the video. Watch. I made this video. Because they called the police on her, you guys. Can you guys still hear me when this thing is up? I don't know. But you see how the police wheels are moving on there? Because that girl up in the corner under the word subscribe is Stacy whoever. And she was on Vanderpump Rules. And she was the girlfriend of Jax Taylor at one point. And everybody on that show smashes everybody. But anyway, Stassi and the girl right there who's looking at her side eyes over there, that's Kristen Dowdy. And her and the guy on the end over there are now on this show called The Valley. They are like the headliners on a spinoff 4 years after getting fired without making any public reparation to freaking Faith. We're going to listen to their own bragging. It happened in 2018 when they did this to her. And then you see that one on her chest with the knife? That's Lala, because Lala pulled a knife on her and they told Faith she couldn't call the police. And then that one behind her, Brittany, was the current girlfriend of Jax when Faith and Jax smashed, because Jax was how you got screen time. It was like some kind of humiliation ritual that you had to go through. But in her case, because she was Black, they were like, how could you? And so Brittany was like, her nappy hair. Yeah. Plus, Jack said some things about he didn't want to film with Billy Lee. You know, the one that's transsexual? Yeah. Because he didn't film with those or something like that. A lot of it. And all of them end up in a spinoff with opportunities, books, podcasts. They not only called the police on her repeatedly while she was a part of their same working cohort current cast in 2018, 2017. Then when the regular police wouldn't do anything, they called the military police on her, y'all, and reported her AWOL. They said they heard she was AWOL and called the military police on her. She's an honorable veteran of these United States of America, you guys. An honorable veteran. And they besmirched her reputation and good name publicly on podcasts, laughed about it, bragged about it for years. And it was known to Bravo before Bravo did anything. So in 2020, there was the whole quote unquote Bravo reckoning, right? And that meant that they had to do that patronizing, oh yeah, we're for you guys. George Floyd was happening and stuff like that. And so they were digging through tweets of these guys and looking at how things were being said that were, racist leaning and straight out overtly, like, as I like to call them, macroaggressions. You know what I mean? Obvious. And that's too had been known. Yet Faith got fired. They got all to keep their jobs. Then when they did finally get fired in 2020, now it's 2024 and they got spinoffs in there, the headliners, calling other people in the show racist. And then in their confessionals crying, fake crying. Oh, I'm so fragile that I paid my dues. I'm a different person. I'm a different person. And the first opportunity she gets, the person closest to the Black person, she's all saying that they too are the ones that told her another person was racist or something. So it triggered Faith. and she has a 28-page complaint. Okay, 28 pages. And we're going to look at all of it. But like I said, I want to be able to establish why it is that this is even something. I don't know if you guys want to go deep with me, but I go there. And here we go.
See, I was there. My family's from Louisiana. I went to the Ninth Ward. Sometimes you can't pay attention to what the news says. It's important to actually go eyeball what's going on, which was very interesting because it was one of the most horrific events I'd ever seen and probably will ever see in my life. Well, Black folks were just simply treated differently. Did you notice that? Here's the good news about Katrina. Everybody noticed it. So all the rest of the world, where we learn, send us your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, your democracy, your equality. They said, what happened with that Katrina thing? All that stuff y'all talked about. Well, let me read this. This is from Associated Press, taken straight from the newspaper. The front, actually, the top part here is actually a woman, but they think it's a man. Anyway, it says a young man walks through chest-deep floodwater after looting a grocery store in New Orleans on Tuesday, August 30th, 2005. Same body of water down here, Two residents wade through chest-deep water after finding bread and soda from a local grocery store.
Hi, Ellie.
Now, same event, same water. White people, Black people. We've told you what you see now.
It snowed yesterday. Dang.
That removes your
cold
what?
Out here too.
Difference, because these people can't be perceived as looting. They're white people. White people don't loot. Now, the truth of the matter is, I don't care what any of them are doing. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to still the social conscience by letting you know, don't forget, this is a looter. Matter of fact, what you last heard was that they were looters and rapists. Did you not? So don't they deserve it? That wasn't back in, slavery though, was it? How many people think there are white racists? That there are white racists out there? How many think there are Black racists out there? Okay. But one of the things that I do is I try to help people get a picture of what I mean by racism. So tell me how it is. The first category is white racism, then we'll deal with Black racism. So white racism. Tell me the ways in which white racism adversely impacts the lives of Black people. Just what are the ways that white racism can adversely impact the lives of Black people as a group? What are some of those ways? I'm sorry? Power, but how is that defined specifically? Education, okay. I'm sorry. Economically, employment. What else? Housing, what else? Policing. Why are we here today? Healthcare, okay. Now, we could actually kind of grow that list. Now we're going to move over to Black racism. Tell me the ways in which Black racism adversely impacts the lives of white people as an entire group. Thank you. The reason why you become silent, there's one that always comes up, and that's fear. White people are afraid of Black people. They are afraid of us. And it's a very interesting thing because Black people know it. We know white people are afraid, but you have to start getting into the psychology. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid? But it's an interesting dynamic. Now, also you see the difference in what racism is, do you not? Racism implies you have not just prejudice, but the power to do something with that prejudice. Now, I don't like you, not only that, but I'm going to control whether you can get, I may say I hate you. I hate white people. I hate them. It's not going to change you from getting that, loan. When you go to the bank. I can hate you all the way to the bank. Not going to change. Do you see the difference? That whereas white racism says, not only do I not like you, but I'm going to change the impact of where you can live. I'm going to determine with that racism where your powers are. You following me? And I'm talking about as a group, not an individual, because people said, I remember when my uncle didn't. I'm not talking about your uncle. I'm talking about the whole group. I'm not talking about an incident. That's a difference. But white people are afraid. So let's get into how this fear impacts criminal justice. Because if white people in this room are afraid of black people, guess who else is afraid of black people? Only they have guns. So now let's look at what he said. Simply put, white cops are afraid of black men. We don't talk about it. We pretend it doesn't exist. We claim color blindness. We say white officers treat black men the same way they treat white men, but that's a lie. And here's a big one. In fact, the bigger, the darker the black man, the greater the fear. Any big black men in here? You got a big old bullseye on you, even if you got the suit on. And it's the truth, because statistics bear it out. The African community knows this. Hell, most whites know it. Yet, even though it's essential, if not the defining ingredient in the makeup of police racism, white cops won't admit it to themselves or to others. So what we have to realize, we need to be realistic about that. So what I have to do is teach my sons how to navigate this, do I not? Doesn't matter what I think and no baby, we are the world. No, this is real. You do have a bullseye on you. When you're in the elevator with the only white woman there, and you're the big black man, she's clutching her purse and she's worried. That's a reality. And if you startle her too much, it used to mean you get lynched. Matter of fact, I think she could scream right now and you get taken down. Now, this is interesting because this has to do with women. My father used to say if a white man has a cold, a black man has pneumonia. And if a black man has pneumonia, a black woman has cancer. It just kind of figures out that way. And when we begin to see what's been happening with particularly women of color, just historically, women of color have been fodder for white men. Now, what started in the backwoods or in the cabin with the slaves, it never went away, And I want to speak to this because this is a tough one to swallow too. But imagine they did a study back in the 80s, and they asked men across the board, cross races, if you could get away with sexually assaulting a woman, raping a woman, in other words, and there's no possible way that you'll get, penalized for it. Do you ever get, how many of you would consider doing it? This is just regular Joe, go to work with the kids. 70%. 70. Said if I could do it, I would do it. Imagine being able to do that for a couple hundred years with impunity. Imagine, you don't have to worry about, you talk about pedophilia and all that. Imagine being able to buy that. And then you can beat it to death too and get another one. I know it's tough to wrap your head around, but what happens to an appetite created like that? Where you could rape a black woman anytime you wanted to, and it wasn't considered rape because she was promiscuous. Hundreds of years. We're not talking about a few years. Hundreds of years. Protected by the law. No moral. You could go to church. It was all good. Where do you think that went after slavery ended? It didn't go away because guess who's the number one? You got folks who are pimping the women, and then you got the ones that are buying them. And who's buying them? Same middle-aged white males between 35 and 60, married with children. 5 years I work with them. These are the Johns. Still are the Johns. And still are getting hold of some of that black body. Are you following me? This is really important. No, it just mutated into something else. So now we have to figure out a way within the legal perspective to deal with these women who are out of control. My cautious guess is that 5% of America's cops are on the prowl for women. Women, you need to get consent. 5% of any police department. In other words, they're folks who become police officers because they're predatory. That's why. Think about it. We know where pedophiles go, don't we? You go where there are children. Thank you. So we got to understand police officers, plenty of them are twisted. And I've worked for the last 20 years with police officers. Trust me. I'm always concerned about someone that deliberately wants a gun, aside from the short man. And as Black people, I say this all the time, and I'll end here, that we can ill afford to swallow whole what is called culture. We can ill afford to swallow that because there's poison in the cookies. And the only way to get the poison out of the cookies is not someone from the outside looking in, but those who are living in this to be able to look at themselves and assess it with a level of dignity, a level of safety that perpetuates a sense of well-being and healing. Thank you so much. You all heard about Katrina, yes?
Okay, so I wanted to go there first because that's the deepness, the legacy of why we need to jump this timeline. That much trauma and pain can only, that needs to be healed, okay? Part of the healing of that is retribution for women like Nene Leakes, women like Faith Stowers, and now we're going to show you what the people bragged about doing to Faith, you guys. It was disgusting. Disgusting. So Faith is suing for so many reasons. Let's go
right
here.
now, because if anyone's more crazy than James Kennedy, it's his mother. She's got like something real weird brewing behind the eye.
Let's go there. I'm going to pull this up. Here it is. Shout out to the Bravo investigator for providing all 28 pages of Faith Stowers' suit against Bravo et al. And does 1 through 50, y'all. So that means she don't have to know your name and number right now. When her lawyers get the records, and she's be able to be like, oh, that's the person that was okay. Then that's them. Yeah. Thanks for coming through, you guys. I hope you're having an most excellent day. Yep. Get away with it all the time. Feel like often at my school. Oh, wow. Really? Yeah. See? See? Wow. Yes. Oh my gosh. I bet. And now they're doing and undoing all these laws specifically against what they call minorities, only because they made us that way. Because in the census in 1800s, there was way more us. Anyway, so yes, it's been a different kind of a thing that's going on everywhere. Oh, they are not required to protect. Please look up the SCOTUS decision. See? Yeah. But see, that's the misnomer, is that only some really thought that they were supposed to protect. There have been others that know exactly what is happening and know that the hunt was on all along under the guise of protecting. You protect some and serve others. That's what they used to say in LA. Okay. Yes. Happy Sunday. Linnell Siller. Oh, right on. Thanks for coming through, Linnell. Oh, an AAE, voice sister. Voice twin. That's what we're calling it. That's what it is. Yes, Curves. These rich white girls look at me as if, oh, you're part of a gang. Oh, no. I have had to. Oh, no. Yeah, like you're supposed to be standing there holding the door for them. Yeah. And they have no idea they're in the presence of greatness. Like they're just freaking looking down on you because they can. Because you're a lighter shade of brown. Remember that song? There was a whole group called Lighter Shade of Brown, right? Yeah. You guys can definitely come on today. Let's get this copied and pasted. And I'm going to be playing some audio, like I said, and we're going to be going through this suits. Thanks for coming through, Chanel's reality. Yeah, that happens to him too. Hi, Brendan. Yeah, people are freaking weirdos. Freaking weirdos. Yeah, and it says so much more about the person who treats a person like that, but it does not negate the feeling that it puts on to the person that they're doing it towards. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't change that ripple of energy until the reparation is made. And so in the case of Kristen and Stassi and Jax and Brittany and all of them, to have been given second, third, and 18th chances, after what you're going to hear. So here's the first. Let's get this over. So her complaint is for damages for retaliation, discrimination, hostile work environment, harassment, retaliation, failure to prevent discrimination and harassment, wrongful termination in violation of public policy, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Jury trial demanded. Hello? Yeah, everybody, you're like, energy is energy. Like, people feel your vibe, Emmanuel. You're an awesome guy. Oh, Brendan says, hi, guys. Yeah, it does. And that's the test for the nice person, right? It's like, are you going to give up your blessing of being a nice person just because there's those type of people? Or are you going to continue in spite of that and, like, turn the other cheek, so to speak? Um, it's a personal thing. Hey, 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 I have opted to not turn the cheek a number of times, y'all. And I always end up feeling horrible. And then I'm always like, dang, I should have just turned the other cheek. Especially like if the person ends up having like a whole story and I like snapped for no reason. Yeah. Well, it was for a reason, but the reason was a reason also. You know what I mean? So in those cases, I learned that, hey, maybe it's worth just continuing to be nice. Because you can't argue with cats. Have you ever tried to herd cats? Have you ever talked to wood? Have you? Anyway, but look at these complaints. And then the defendants is NBC Media, Delaware Limited Liability Company, Bravo Media, uh, a Delaware Limited Liability Company. Our in-house Esquire in training, Emmanuel, might be able to tell us if these are these misdemeanors. EFT Media Productions and Evolution Media, all Delaware LLCs. So it's just saying that this case concerns Faith, a cast member of Bravo's popular reality TV shows, who appeared in 51 episodes as the only Black cast member before being driven out by vicious campaign of racist harassment and retaliation. Stowers was recruited by the show by Lisa Vanderpump, who expressed a desire to add more color to the cast. Although she had never set out to be a reality star, she was excited. She was paid $5,000. However, she would quickly realize that she was getting more than she bargained for, as detailed below. She was subjected to racism, sexual harassment, and physical assault in just her first season. When she reported her mistreatment, so okay, here's the theme. Nene also said she reported her mistreatment in real time. Okay? So there's a clear pattern of people reporting things and nothing happening. Okay? Well, at least sometimes. So, when reported her mistreatment to NBC and Evolution, the network and production company, respectively, she was warned in no uncertain terms to keep quiet and play nice, driven by concern for her career and fear of how she would otherwise be portrayed on air. She reluctantly did so, only to discover that she had been nominally demoted to unpaid volunteer without any actual change in her employment status. Over time, her treatment got even worse. Many cast members embarked on an overtly racist social media harassment campaign, accusing her of having gone AWOL from the military, false, of being a thief, false, and of being a career criminal wanted by LAPD, false. NBC and Evolution, which tightly control the cast's public statements and messaging, condoned, ratified, and amplified these vicious lies, causing untold harm to Stowers' mental health and reputation. To make matters worse, NBC threatened her with ruinous legal action when she attempted to speak out. Because remember, I told you, she spoke out before and nothing happened. Because all this stems back to 2017, 2018. Okay, that's when it actually happened. Fast forward to 2020, when racial inequities rocked the public consciousness following George Floyd's murder. NBC Evolution started facing backlash of their mistreatment of Stowers. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, where was I? What line? Look, there's numbers on the side and everything. Anybody know what number I was on? NBC Evolution facing backlash to the mistreatment of Stowers, an astonishingly cynical act of performative allyship. They belatedly terminated several cast members for behavior they had long known about. To the point, did they ever reach out to Faith? At no point did they ever reach out to Faith herself. Now the racial reckoning of 2020 has what's that say? Receded. NBC and Evolution have reverted to their old ways. I said the same thing as a viewer. And a Vanderpump Rules spinoff entitled The Valley debuted in March 2024. You guys, it's April 2024. Starring the who's who of the 2020 choppy block. Stowers has watched all of this unfold with dismay, having received no sliver of justice through informal channels, and without recourse, she brings this action to vindicate her legal rights and rectify the many tentacled harm she has endured. You guys, they need to do a class action suit, perhaps. Perhaps this is a time where unity would help get the job done. I mean, because all these little single suits. I don't know. This is crazy. Okay. So the parties. Faith, in all relevant times, was writing in California, defendant. And so we already went through those people. We already named the defendants and whatnot. Okay, so then this is saying more about the defendants. They worked in tandem. And then this is saying those 1 through 50 are individuals and or entities whose true names and capacities are currently unknown to Stowers. Those 1 through 50 are legally responsible and liable to Stowers to the extent of liability of the named defendant. I need water. Stowers will seek leave of court to amend this complaint to reflect true names and capacities of defendants designated herein as Does 1 through 50, When such identities and capacities become known, what I tell y'all, I grew up on LA law. That's exactly what those mean. So you're like, okay, there was that person who was there, but I don't know where they are and like what their name is. Are they still involved? You know what I'm saying? But in going in discovery, they get to find out the records of who was employed and stuff like that so they can verify for sure who to name in this stuff, you guys. All the relevant times herein, each of the defendants was the agent, servant, employee, employer, joint venturer, partner, and alter ego of each of the named defendants was at all times operating and acting within the purpose and scope of said agency, service, employment, joint venture, partnership, and or alter ego. Each defendant has rendered substantial assistance and encouragement to the other defendants acting in concert, knowing his or her conduct was wrongful, unlawful, and each defendant has ratified and approved of the facts of each of the remaining defendants. The jurisdiction is Superior Court of California. And still the jurisdiction, the venue proper, Superior Court. Exhaustion. Stowers has exhausted her administrative remedies by filing a complaint against the defendants. April 3rd, 2024, she received a notice, cease closure and right to sue on April 3rd, 2024. I'm not sure what that means. Stowers had, okay. So I guess you know how they sent Nene back to, I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV either. I'm only like, I only watch law shows. I don't really like the crimey ones. I like the lawy ones. Yeah. So Stowers has exhausted her administrative remedies by filing a complaint against the defendants on April 3rd. But she also received a notice of case closure and right to sue on April 3rd. So I'm not sure how that works. But all right, she got her right to sue. So with Nene Leakes, remember she sued and they sent her to arbitration, and now they haven't talked to her for another, I don't know, it's going on at least 3 years. It has to be. Where they exhausted her time with whatever window there was, like for them to respond. And then their response was, we want to do arbitration like it says in her contract. And now they still haven't talked to her. So maybe that's, since it's been 4 years since she initially said something to them, she was able to get a notice of right to sue. I don't know, because she's exhausted all administrative remedies. So hopefully Nene can do something like this, and if she feels like it, because I feel like waiting more than 2 years for arbitration where they're not answering your calls is ridiculous and another form of what we're talking about. So the general allegations, the case centers on Vanderpump Rules, a reality television series premiered on Bravo 2013. The series revolves around a staff of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants in West Hollywood: Sir Restaurant, Lounge, Pump Restaurant, Tom Tom Restaurant, Bar. Lisa Vanderpump, a British restaurateur and former Real Housewife of Beverly Hills cast member, is a central figure on the series, which focuses on her employees' drama-filled personal and professional lives. The show has aired continuously for over a decade and is in its 11th season, premiered January 30th. Stowers came to the attention of Lisa Vanderpump on Vanderpump Rules' production team while working as a server on Pump at one of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants. Vanderpump encouraged Stowers to join Vanderpump Rules, remarking that she was in need of color. Stowers agreed to appear on season 4 as a cast member without the benefit of counsel. Stowers entered into an agreement with Evolution and NBC, entitling Stowers to a grand total of $5,000 in exchange for her participation, with the caveat that Stowers was required to ostensibly forfeit every conceivable legal right she had or may have had under California law. That sounds like an abusive contract. Stowers' experiences of racism and physical violence on set. Stowers was victimized by Evolution NBC and the cast during her time on Vanderpump Rules for many years thereafter. Some of this victimization came in the form of racist slurs, others in the form of physical violence. Lauren Birmingham, PKA Lala Kent. Kent would routinely joke that she, Kent, was blacker than Stowers. The deeply offensive sentiments were, on many occasions, caught on camera. Also captured on camera was Brittany Cartwright hurling racial slurs at Stowers over speakerphone in the presence of other cast members and mocking her nappy hair. Several cast members also embarked on racially charged and defamatory harassment campaign against Stowers, which is further detailed below. Stowers' experience on Vanderpump Rules during seasons 4 included sexual harassment and physical violence. When Stowers confided in a producer that she had developed feelings for Kent, production seemed gleeful to make the dynamic as awkward and uncomfortable as possible. The cast trip to Hawaii, production arranged for Kent and Stowers to stay in a room in a single bed. Moreover, they pressured Kent and Stowers to get intimate and touch each other sensually on camera. All of this was greatly distressing to Stowers. Later that season, Stowers was violently assaulted by Kent. Other cast members have alluded to the so-called knife attack in the past, but it has never been fully flushed out due to Evolution NBC's cover-up. Kent and Stowers were in SUR dining room arguing over Stowers' disclosure of something Kent believed was said in confidence. Kent became severely agitated, losing all self-control, hurling barbs at Stowers. Stowers and Kent retreated to a back room with Kent still screaming, with the camera still rolling. Kent grabbed a knife from a nearby counter and began brandishing it at Stowers, holding it to her neck and threatening to cut a bitch. Stowers looked into Kent's eyes while Kent was wielding the knife and could see that Kent was deadly serious and had completely lost control, and consequently that Stowers was in actual danger. Stowers feared that Kent would stab, slice, or disfigure her. Furthermore, a Black woman who served in the military, she felt that if she attempted to disarm Kent or otherwise venture to protect herself, she would be stereotyped due to her race and be blamed for the events. Facts of the matter was most certainly correct. Deeply shaken, Stowers reported the events to NBC Evolution and expressed her intention to involve law enforcement. In response to Stowers' disclosure, NBC and Evolution began to cover up almost immediately. Bill Langworthy, the show executive producer, called Stowers that night to discourage her from involving police and escalating the situation by speaking to the media. Langworthy downplayed the incident's significance and strongly implied to Stowers that speaking out loud would come with severe career ramifications. Sound familiar, Nene Leaks? The next day, Vanderpump met with Stowers, informing her in no uncertain terms that she would be terminated if she would not find a way to get along with Kent. So the girl pulled the knife. Where's my video? 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 Is that it? Where's my video? So they called the police on her after this. But she literally had a knife brandished at her on camera by the girl who is in her 11th season on the show. Having the nerve. She's been on the show, Lala Kent. Crazy eyes right here, and the one with the knife right there. She says on the thing that she's the Black Tupac and stuff like that all the time. It's crazy. And to now know that Lisa Vanderpump, and I was just liking Vanderpump Villa because she had the foresight to not make the two Black people on there maids or chefs, you know. But she didn't have the foresight to not go to this Black woman and tell her that she better not go to police and she better find a way to get along with her assailant, or else she wouldn't have said it in reverse. I'm positive. Because then she goes on to get fired by the same lady. Stowers was utterly astonished and disturbed by NBC Evolution's response. However, given the threat to her job security, livelihood, and reputation, Stowers decided to hold her tongue. She neither reported the incident to police at the time nor spoke to the media. Stowers faces retaliation from NBC Evolution. Notwithstanding her compliance with their directives, Stowers was subjected to retaliation for the incident. Instead of exercising her option, which would have entitled her to more money, or even just terminating her, NBC Evolution forced her to sign a new revised contract, providing that she was now a volunteer who would not be paid, clarifying that they had no obligation to me whatsoever. The same language was included in her subsequent contract for season 6. At no point did Stowers' actual employment status change in spite of these retaliatory actions intended to punish her. Now remember, the lady had a knife at her. We're going to hear it from the ladies. We're going to listen. This is only page 7 of the complaint. I wish I could read faster. Okay, so notwithstanding her compliance, and then that happened, and it was in all to punish her, she believes it was all based on the alleges that the white members of Vanderpump Rules cast, and certainly none of the regular participants, were volunteering to work without compensation. To make matter, because they were all able to buy $1 million houses in the freaking valley for the show that they're currently headlining, is how much money those white cast members were getting paid. Faith, you're very right. And I'm sure when we get in Discovery, their financial records, will be able to see in no uncertain terms that you actually were discriminated against, because what you do for one, you're supposed to do for all. And then if you don't, then it's discrimination. Sorry, not sorry, but it's clear. I mean, you could do it, but then there's going to be something that happens, right? Stowers was previously paid cast member, and her designation only changed after she was subjected to and reported physical violence and racist harassment by her white castmates in or around February 2018. NBC got wind of Stowers' intention to speak up about her mistreatment and reached out to reprimand her and threaten legal action. They warned Stowers that if she, the volunteer, would face heavy liquidated penalties for discussing her experience. That means that they was going to sue her for her money. They was going to come after her dollars, liquidate her, right? NBC was clearly fearful that Stowers might say and keep a keen prevent any unflattering revelations about Kent's behavior. NBC had no problem whatsoever threatening Vanderpump Rules' only Black cast member, now regulated to unpaid volunteer to protect the white cash cow. Not that Stowers ever disappeared from the Vanderpump storyline. After secret intimate relationship with Jax Taylor came to light, Stowers was the subject of the central plot line of season 6. Specifically, it was disclosed that Taylor and Stowers had a brief consensual sexual relationship. Taylor had been untruthful about the status of his relationship with Cartwright, so their relationship was that of an affair. Oh, so Jax lied, and so it ended up being an affair. A hot mic on Stowers' home music studio inadvertently caught the recording of her and Taylor. In the recording, Stowers and Taylor discussed their relationship. Taylor informed Stowers of his intention to leave Cartwright on recording. Okay? Another cast member, James Kennedy, illicitly accessed Stowers' phone and found the recording which he sent to himself. Stowers had no idea Kennedy had accessed the recording until she later heard about its contents. After that, Stowers received a call from Bravo indicating that she earned her way back on the show. Although angry about her mistreatment and retaliatory treatment, she agreed to appear at Sheena Shea's birthday party following heavy pressure from production and the cast. When she entered the party, production handed her a form to sign. She was instructed to confront Taylor about the affair, which he falsely denied. Stowers would later learn that the form was a contract, and she was told that she earned her way back. She took that to mean that she was going to be compensated, but she was wrong, because what she signed described her as a volunteer again and not going to be paid. Read your contracts, people. Stowers was shocked and outraged and reasonably felt that the white cast members had not expected to tolerate such mistreatments. They kept pressuring her to come back. Okay, so now that's enough of me reading. I think that's been 20 minutes. I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep. But now let's listen to where'd it go? Do we have it? I think I have it over here. Let's get this small. So yeah, you guys, I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. Chanel's reality. LVP always knows what's going on. Yep, she does. She's probably one of the does, 1 through 50. Savage. Yes. What you do in the dark comes to light. Yep. And the same black lady they were harassing a few years back called Yes. So that's what we're getting ready to listen to, is exactly that. Where'd it go? Did they ask them to take it down? I hope I recorded it. Because they could have got reached because the thing got scrubbed from the line, But I have it here. Here we go, you guys. Here we go. Let's see. Is it this one?
Texts Kristen and says, "Hey, do you know this girl Faith Stowers? She stole my credit. She was out and stole my credit card." I'm like, "I know, because her friend came to me and admitted it. And they went to Roosevelt." And Kristen's like, "Yeah." And then Kristen goes, "Oh my God, wait," hung up the phone. She goes, "Sassy, I saw this article on like the Daily Mail or something. National. It was like national. national news thing about a woman who stole like $300,000 worth of money and watches and stuff, like drugged two dudes at a club in LA, in West Hollywood or something. And she goes, let me just bring that up. It's like her intuition was just like, what? Going nuts. And I go, Kristen, she brings up the article, like, that is 100% fake. Like, they had like video like footage stills of her walking in someplace. And so then I'm like, we have to be sure. So we like read every article. It says she has tattoos on her, like the side of her body, like wherever she had tattoos. We like took a screenshot of what she was wearing. We start going through her Instagram. She deleted all of her photos on her Instagram. So then we went to her tagged photos. Stupid bitch didn't even think to fucking tag her tagged photos. So we go way back.
Amateur move.
All the tattoos match. We find a wig. She has a photo with the same wig that she had on because she likes the fucking wigs. Then we contact even James. And this was like during filming. I think they were in Big Bear.
How is this not like more of a story?
Because I guess because it's the law and all that, like you couldn't.
Oh, okay.
Then James contacts somebody else who then calls Kristen and is like, that's my jacket that she stole. She's wearing my jacket. And we're like, we just solved a fucking crime. We're at Gracias Madre getting wasted and we solved a crime. We start calling the police.
Oh my God.
We start calling, yes. Police don't give a fuck. First of all, it's really hard to like, I'm going to say this, like, it's very hard to actually get in touch with the police unless it's like an emergency.
Yeah.
We start calling the West Hollywood police. They don't care either. Finally, Kristen sees, this is like months later, sees when the police have not cared.
They're like, yeah, ladies, like, continue with your fucking snow cone margaritas,
Yes.
okay?
Kristen sees that she's at like Bootsy. That's a place, Bootsy.
I mean, you are asking so wrong.
I don't go to clubs, whatever. A club that's in West Hollywood. And Kristen's like, I'm going.
I love Kristen.
Kristen
God bless her.
Goes, calls the West Hollywood police again and goes, I am where Faith Stowers is. And they're like, oh, we know. Faith Stowers, like, we know what she's done. Like, basically saying that we know, but we don't care to go and fucking find her.
Yeah, like we're good.
Yeah, like it was
$300,000 worth of stuff.
fucking a lot. But I knew she was like she's like she steals shit. We all knew that, but we didn't know that she was like a hardcore. Like she was homeless, and during Vanderpump Rules, she was homeless, living on people's couches.
What about the couch that she got from Tom Sandoval? Didn't she pick up a couch from him? The details that I remember are really, really sad.
I remember that. I don't know where it went, but no one knows where she is now. Like Lala used to like plant things in her apartment to see if they'd go stolen.
No way.
Yeah.
What a crazy ass bitch.
And now she's on MTV.
Wow, dreams do come true. It's a regular Cinderella story.
I'm sorry, but when she went in the military, she was, what's it called when you go AWOL?
Oh.
So I said, Kristen, fucking call the military police because they're looking for her too. Shout out, military police.
Did they handle it?
Faith Stowers. No, I'm doing this right now.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Listen,
this is a call to action.
None of the police will get back to us.
This is like serial right now.
It is.
You've really taken me on a journey that I did not know that we were going to enter.
Now I'm scared that, I'm saying this, that she is going to, because she has, so do you know that the night that this came out, filming, when we were filming, the night that it came out at Sheena's birthday, that her and Jax hooked up.
Right.
Jax's car was stolen from his garage.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no, when I woke up in the morning and someone
Do you
said
think she had intel?
Jax's car was stolen, I was like, you can't make this. I don't know why that wasn't covered on Vanderpump Rules.
That's like, that's crazy.
Who gets their car stolen?
I swear to God, this show, Vanderpump Rules, takes me on such a serotonin, like just, I'm on a roller coaster every time I watch it. I can't believe so much shit happens that so consistently.
Yes.
Like more happens in one episode of Vanderpump Rules than an entire season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And it's like big shit.
Yes.
Like breakups and makeups and it's so much stuff.
I know, but before we continue with that, may I just say I have video cameras all in my house. So if you're gonna come after me or send your peeps,
Don't even try.
Yeah, and everyone's gonna know it's you because I'm announcing it right now.
Exactly. And by the way, I am excellent backup.
Yeah,
Just
so
so
like
you know.
witnesses. Like
I would like to also say in my house, I also have a security system. So don't fuck with me.
so yeah.
Alarms and cameras.
You guys,
Somebody texts Kristen and says, "Hey, do you know this girl, Faith Stowers? She stole my credit. She was."
so you guys, so that was the recording of one of the times they told that story. And they told that story numerous times. So it was Kristen and Stassi who, hey Hubs. Just a second, you guys. Had to get my smack on. Okay, you guys. So we just listened to what she did braggadociously. No fear of retaliation from anything that Lisa was going to say, that production was going to say, that Bravo, NBC, Evolution. No fear. Went around bragging about it. Her and her castmates. And other people did too. Isn't that horrible? They've never corrected it. They barely said they were sorry because what their apologies were basically cut and paste exactly the same. I'm sorry, I should do better. BS. But what have they done that we can see as viewers and that Faith can feel as a human that has been done to repair this damage that you just caused my ears to hear about those lies that you just told on Faith Stower? On Waves, where this is, even though Stassi had it deleted, this is like Reddit, this is Instagram, this is forever. This is why they be telling you don't send nobody your titties. This is forever. Somebody gets a screen grab, there's nothing you can do. And now they're 4 years later talking about our time. It's long enough. We deserve to be the headliners on the new show. And Bravo's like, yeah, you do. Because Black lives don't matter. Isn't this like kind of like, it's like wrong, right? I feel like it's wrong, y'all. I feel like it's wrong. I was wondering if Stassi didn't do the Valley because yes, so she actually just had another baby too. And she's probably raising them exactly how she was raised because she had said some things on the show. Also, Corey's always the one that reminds me of the things that Stassi said on the show. I think it was Corey that reminded me of Stassi saying something backwards when the show first came on. And yeah, because we know the producers would remind everyone that she's a racist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Mademoiselle, hello. Yes, everyone should sue. She should sue him for defamation. Well, we were reading the complaint, and she leaves room to definitely sue them later, like amend her complaint as the names of the people do it. So I'm posting a video. Is this the one? That, where'd it go? Okay, here we go. We're gonna do this one next.
Like, I think she was because, Lala pulled a knife out on her on camera this season, except they didn't air that. She pulled
She
a
pulled
knife
a knife
on
out
Faith
on Faith.
for telling that the salad was tossed.
I'm not sure. Maybe that was why.
Yeah, we all have little craziness.
Did Lala have a knife on somebody?
Somebody asked seasons ago, Faith.
She pulled a knife on Faith.
There was like a
I get
it
it.
was like a butter knife or assert. They were assert, and it was like on that little sidebar.
Yeah.
I hate even saying that name. Not all of the other ones.
Yeah.
Let's call it the other one.
Voldemort.
Yes.
I feel like no, I think she was because Lala pulled a knife out on her on camera this season, except they didn't air that.
She pulled a knife
on
on Faith
on Faith
for telling that the salad was tossed.
I'm not sure. Maybe that was why.
Yeah, we all have little craziness.
Did Lala pull a knife on somebody?
Somebody asked seasons ago, Faith.
She pulled a knife on Faith.
There was like a
I get
it
it.
was like a butter knife or assert, and it was like on that little sidebar.
Yeah.
I hate even saying that name. Not all of the other ones.
Yeah.
Let's call it the other one.
Voldemort.
Yes.
I feel like no, I think she was because
This is who. Let's see if they have the other part to it, because it looked like there was a lot more. Maybe not. Maybe they just sent it to them for that. Okay, so also we have to go here. I send stuff from myself to myself so we can play it over here. So this is another thing that they went out in public and said, and some of these people weren't even named.
Got fired from Sir, and then she was just kind of like in and out. Like I knew she had like, I don't know. I've heard rumors about Faith. I don't know if they're true. I heard that cops are after. This could be a definite rumor. I don't know.
So allegedly.
Allegedly, the military's after her for being AWOL.
Wow.
Okay. And then also there was these videos that came out online. I don't know if you saw them or not, about somebody who like robbed, and they had security footage of this girl, and it looks just like Faith.
Is it the drugging and robbing?
I think
story
so,
that I
yeah.
heard? Okay, allegedly.
Yeah. I mean, this is all after the fact. It's all after the Jax thing went down. But she was like couch surfing, but like burning bridge couch surfing.
Oh, okay.
Right before we started filming again, she's like staying on Jesse's couch in his living room.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
Like, stuff everywhere, her Kleenex, all stuff, and like not paying him any money. Pretty much, even when she asked Jesse if she could crash in his place, it was like through via text message while they were sitting at the same table, because she was on the verge of getting kicked out of a person that was sitting right next to them's place. So she couldn't ask Jesse in front of that person, because that person probably would have
exposed the whole game. And so when you're juggling this much nonsense,
Jesse found out about, what was happening like a little bit prior, like maybe a week prior. And he felt really uncomfortable about it. In fact, he hated it. In fact, he was like, why the hell did you tell me this? Because now you've put the burden on me of knowing this. And I don't feel like I'm the right person to bring this up or whatever.
Sure.
So I felt bad because he was harboring that information. And she like asked Jesse and James to like, hey, can I like have Jax over and like, maybe you guys can like walk in on us? Dude, yeah. That's why like, listen, obviously people are like saying, oh, that seems fake, like blah, 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 like Faith's just trying to get a storyline, like they like contrive this whole thing. Let me tell you, that shit is definitely not fake. Now look, I understand that like people sometimes get it twisted and they think because people are being fake on the show, that the show is fake.
Right.
But that shit definitely fucking happened. 100% happened. I mean, you'll have, proof of it. Jax and Faith did not conspire together to like create this fucking storyline that was going to basically make Jax's life a living hell for like, and Brittany's life. People don't do. He, like Faith like confided in him. And then he's like finding out that she's literally telling everybody with fucking 2 ears. And then she asks him like, oh, maybe you can like walk in on us or whatever. And he's like, fuck no. Like, fuck you. And he started getting pissed. And so as soon as that shit got brought up, he didn't go, hey, by the way, it was like a floodgate of like anger actually kind of came out of him, because he was actually really fucking pissed off about that whole situation with Faith. He knew what the fuck she was trying to do. He started to put all the pieces together, kind of like how we all did. Like how, like they said, trying to fuck somebody to get on the show, trying to like whatever. I've known Jesse for a long time. He has like this kind of personality that can maybe come off like it like when you first meet him, maybe it comes, I don't know, like I don't know how to,
maybe like people can read him the wrong
people can
way.
read him the wrong way. Yeah. But he's a very nice, passionate, giving person, super sweet, like a really good friend of mine. And he's that way because of who he is. That whole situation, man, it really sucked. And
it does clear some things up though, because like I said, it did appear as if they were sort of in cahoots. And
it
that's what gives the impression as a viewer, you know what I'm saying?
Like Jesse knew about that, and he knew that Faith was like fucking sitting on that shit, waiting for us to start filming again, waiting to like reveal that.
Sure.
Like
And so I was on the record, Faith is the barnacle then.
Yeah, Jesse is definitely not.
Let's move on to
Faith had said that it happened more than once. So I mean, I think there's a good possibility that that's Faith was like MIA as a caretaker.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because she's socializing, going out, whatever. So the lady ended up firing her, but before she fired her, her TV ended up like falling on her.
Oh my God.
So like Faith wasn't around. I think maybe something was with her TV. She was trying to, and Faith wasn't there. And so like her TV, this one was like late 80s or something.
Yeah, and then there's like some new stains on the couch.
Dude.
You guys.
Got fired from Sir. And then she was just kind of like in and out. Like I knew she had like, I don't know. I've heard rumors about Faith. I don't know if they're true.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, isn't that horrible? So that's Tom Sandoval going around repeating the stuff. Now, he didn't get fired in the reckoning in 2020. There's also audio of, let me see, James saying some stuff. Let me put it over here where you can see it. What do you guys think? Isn't that crazy? Where'd it go?
I feel sorry for you because now you're trying to make it seem like you're the victim. Yeah. But you know what you're doing? You have made me a victim. I am Mexican, I am Persian, and you know what you're doing? You have made me a victim. I am Mexican. Are you more sorry?
Okay, so that's not it. Wait, sorry, you guys. Okay, it was. You guys could hear that. I'm sorry. Sorry. What's this one? Let's go here. So thanks for coming through. I hope you smashed all my buttons on your way in. Yeah, right? Like we're just like going to be going through it because I was already triggered as soon as I saw who was going to be in the Valley. You can ask Emmanuel. You can ask whose side are you on, Krista Marie, because I was like, I don't have a comment because I was reviewing Vanderpump with Krista Marie because I was willing to engage again. Because there weren't any known races. I didn't know about this knife event to the degree that I'm even finding out about it now in 2024. I did know that her and Lala got in a fight, but I didn't know there was this whole knife thing. And then she was threatened and demoted instead of protected. And Lala has been allowed to run amok and get even worse. She's always putting her daggers in people's faces. Today, she went and got 9-inch nails and she's always putting them bony fingers in people's faces like she was really going to fight somebody. Like she's really going to fight somebody. Okay. I don't think that was really going to happen. But she has a lot of bark. Okay. And let's see. Is this it?
And I just reacted. For Jax to do that, it's just being fake. Jax promised me he wasn't going to pull this shit. So if he's going to pull shit like that, I'm going to start calling people out on their bullshit. And then I brought up what Zach told us.
The truth that Janet told you about Michelle's always probably a Republican, she's probably racist. I was sitting right next to her. She asked me that.
Before production started, there's a lot of talking going on within our group. Janet was trying to start a bunch of by insinuating that Michelle could be homophobic or racist, and then blasphemy. Zach fully denied it. Everyone's gonna talk about this behind.
Can you hear this okay?
And then filming starts, the cameras are up. Oh, we're all gonna pretend it didn't happen. And I just had enough. Zach was upset that I spoke about things that he told me in confidence. But he knows better when it's a Janet thing. Like, I know in his deep down, Zach really wanted me to light a fire. But I feel awful for bringing Michelle into any of the bullshit that Janet started. I feel like I upset Michelle by saying that. The best thing to do, right?
Okay, so here you can hear it? Okay, but I was gonna pull it up on this. And if I don't say anything, then if they hit me with a copyright thing, then I'll just be able to go back and mute that section. You know what I'm saying? Even though this is only for research. Here, I want to be able to show you this picture of who it is that we're listening to.
Brittany told me. I felt like I was backed into a corner and I just reacted. For Jax to do that, it's just fake. Jax promised me he wasn't going to pull this shit. So if he's going to pull shit like that, I'm going to start calling people out on their bullshit. And then I brought up what Zach told us. The truth that Janet told you shit about. Michelle's like probably a Republican, so she's probably racist. Are you kidding me?
I'm sitting right next to her. Janet told me that.
Zach. Before production started, there was a lot of shit talking going on within our group. Janet was trying to start a bunch of shit by insinuating that Michelle could be homophobic or racist, and then last night, Zach fully denied it. Everyone's gonna talk about this behind closed doors, and then filming starts, the cameras are up. Oh, we're all gonna pretend it didn't happen. And I just had enough. Zach was upset that I spoke about things that he told me in confidence, but he knows better when it's a Janet thing. Like, I know in his deep down, Zach really wanted me to light a fire. But I feel awful for bringing Michelle into any of the bullshit that Janet started. And I feel like I upset Michelle by saying that.
The best thing to do right now is when someone tells you something, just put it in your back pocket. Keep it back there. It doesn't need to be weaponized. Just like
I didn't mean to weaponize. That is what I did, though.
so that's really the whole
I don't know that. I'll go get $2 hooker and mascara under my eyes.
at least like $20,000 an hour.
Oh, that's so sweet. You made me feel better.
So, you guys, so that was Kristen in this show, The Valley. So she, not only do they hire her, headliner in this new spinoff, but in whatever, I think this is like episode 2, she's already calling other people out for and stirring stuff.
That face right there, that's why nobody feels sorry for you, because now you're trying to make it seem like you're the victim. Yes. But you know what you're doing? You have made me a victim. I am Mexican, I am Persian, and now the fact I have to have that word in my name is no
Michelle, I couldn't be more sorry, and I was told.
You're not sorry.
I am sorry. You can't. I'm sorry, raise my voice.
I feel like an asshole that I have to say I am not a racist. And it's because a crazy person didn't want to feel attacked anymore, so she decided to attack me.
I'm so sorry to both of you that I reacted the way that I did and that I even opened my mouth. And you know me, Michelle, you know me better than that.
I thought I did.
Are you joking? I have done nothing but protect you.
It immediately begs the question of what are you protecting her from?
I would love if they have some sort of kink that nobody knows.
Where did this all come from?
Listen, you have done the shittiest job protecting.
Okay, so that's not the racist one, but she's already come on here and got in trouble for being the racist. The people was like, "You're calling me a racist? Like, weren't you literally fired for being a racist?" It was hilarious. Where is this one? Okay. Well, I can't find that right now. Let's go over here real quick. I used to couldn't pronounce my R's when I was a little girl and I had to go to speech therapy. It worked, except for sometimes it leaks out sometimes. Does that ever happen to you guys? Where you went and relearned something and now sometimes it still goes the other way. Let's see, did I send it here? Let's see, no. Oh, Let's see. Yeah, James had said something. What did James say? But they were all pretty much in on it. And they all got rewarded. Spinoffs, restaurants open after them, all kind of things. Yet Faith has had to wait 4 years, got nothing, had her name besmirched. And then the girl Kristen, and then Stassi, she wrote a book recently, like it's 2024. I think she wrote a book in like 2022, you guys. And further talked about Faith some more in her book. And it wasn't in a pleasant way, you guys. So it just is not stopping. And I hope that Faith is able to get everything that she is deserving of. Because this is just ridiculous. Yes, the community here is so intelligent and the conversation is always meaningful. I try, I'm just trying to do the Lord's work, because the more we help heal, the more healing can happen. And the only way to heal stuff is if you know what it is. Like, you can't just you could, I guess. You don't always have to know the name of everything to want healing and get it. But it does make it easier to target if you know the name of what you're dealing with. And in this right here instance, what we're dealing with is racism and Bravo's complicity therein, an established pattern thereunto. Thank you, guys. I love y'all. I love y'all. You second that. Right on. I appreciate the truth. And because I was taught it's supposed to set you free. So, hey, I'm always looking for a form of freedom wherever I can get it. I might be on a digital plantation sometimes, but I look for freedom where I can get it. The sad and best part is these idiots, is the savage, inappropriate racists. Yes, it's all on tape. On tape. They're so freaking. Thanks for coming up. How are you?
Hey, boo. I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Excellent. So you watch VPR and whatnot?
I don't. That's why this is so interesting to me, because I just knew from the beginning. I don't know why, but I have this thing. I feel like I have like a spidey sense of when like shows are gonna be good, meaning people are gonna watch them. But I also have like a spidey sense about when it's gonna be good, but it's not good for us. So I like knew from the beginning. I was like, this is just not gonna be a good show. I felt from the beginning it's gonna have some sort of like racial something. So it's not shocking to me. But that's why I didn't watch it, because I felt like it was going to be one of those things and it was going to irritate me, because people love to gaslight you and act like, oh, no, that's not racist. Everything isn't about race. I'm sick of talking about race. And I'm like, how about I'm sick of living in a racist ass country? I'm sick of y'all pretending as if race doesn't exist, but you're doing racist-ish. So anyway, it's annoying to me. It's kind of like, and I don't want to get off topic, but it's kind of like Potomac and people acting like there is no colorism. And I'm like, First of all, let me just be very clear. Race is a construct. It's made by man. It's to categorize people. It's to say, what are your features? You have a big nose, a small nose, you have full lips, you have thin lips, you have blue eyes, you have brown eyes. That's what race is. It's to categorize people. So then we can, say these people are better, these people are less, whatever, right?
Right.
Colorism is a byproduct of racism, right? Exactly. So it's like, now that we have
it's a subsidiary of the same corporation.
Correct. So it's like, it's these people, they drive me crazy because they're like, racism can exist, but then this particular show over here is void of colorism. Well, you can't have colorism without racism. So be very clear. So if racism exists, then colorism can exist. So, but anyways, not to get off topic, it's just very irritating to me because, like I said, people want to act like, no, there's no colorism, there's no racism. I'm like,
oh, we can talk about it.
Why do you have to do that? Like, it bothers me. My thing is, and I'll just say this one last thing, but my thing is, I'm not saying you have to see it. But the fact that you're sitting here trying to tell me it doesn't exist just because you don't see it, because you don't recognize it, that's what irritates me.
Right.
You know? Anyway.
Right. No, those are all very valid points. I subscribe to those. And colorism is definitely an offshoot, subsidiary, side byproduct of racism, the construct that is a thing that's used to oppress specifically people with more melanin than not. And it's fucked up and it needs to change. We are going to be jumping this timeline, and because I feel our greatness is shining through.
Well, but you know, I like this conversation because like I'm not a part of the show, meaning I don't watch it just because I could tell from the beginning. I was like, this isn't going to be great, mostly because there's not anybody else really represented, you know. And you got to think about the one black lady that, like I said, I've heard of her, but I don't know. I couldn't pick any of these people out of a lineup. But it's not shocking that y'all wouldn't bring more people of color, and I wouldn't care what color they are. You know what I'm saying? Spanish, whatever, but just more representation.
Exactly.
To the
table. You know, I used to get at the producers of what was that show? It had Sophia Vieira and the guy from
The
Al
Family.
Bundy.
What is it called? I think I know what you're
that one.
The Modern Family, I think.
Yeah, I would get at them on Twitter talking about no black and Modern Families, like no representation.
Oh, they didn't have that.
At all. They didn't even have a neighbor or nothing drop by. Even on Archie Bunker.
Oh, wow.
That Jefferson guy would drop by. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
That's another show that I knew from the beginning. I told my husband, I was like, I'm not going to watch this show because it's going to irritate me. But I was like, I know this show is going to go on for many, many seasons. And I was right.
Yeah. You were right about both. And my friend told me.
But I didn't know they didn't have any black people on it or no people of color at all.
They just don't put them in front of the camera.
Wow.
And then to find out when they did, they were underpaying them or not paying them at all. And then using and abusing them. That's just so exactly what you would think. And part of exactly why you knew it was annoying. It was annoying. Even as a viewer, like I would be like, oh, this is some, Girls Gone Wild type stuff, Right. When I would watch, it was like, it wasn't like I'm invested.
Right.
And when they did that to Faith, I stopped watching. And I didn't start rewatching until like last season or something like that.
Faith is the black girl on this show, the Vanderpump Rules show.
Yeah. So no, there still isn't a black girl on there, but I had just started watching again to review it with my friend. And now it's all coming out again because everybody has a job again. And it's just disgusting on the part of Bravo. I feel like things like that are a direct slap in the face to people like Faith, to people like Nene.
Yep.
It's like, look, we're going to continue to uplift who you complained about while you're over there not even able to work.
Yep. And you know what's worse is to me is when the people, this is what drove me crazy with like, this is a different subject, but with the, people were kneeling in the NFL or whatever. It was just kind of like, we don't want to have to talk about this thing that's going on because how dare you bring race and interrupt my show that I'm enjoying because I'm enjoying this show after work and I don't want to have to think about it. And that's why I say it's irritating to me that you say you don't want to have to think about it and I have to live it. So I'm just kind of like,
and that's part of the racism though.
But to me, that's the reason why they could bring this show back, like what you're saying, and with all the same people, because it's like, okay, well then just revamp the show. Maybe don't bring the racist people back. You know what I'm saying? The problematic people. Maybe you could still bring some of your old cast back. Maybe that weren't as problematic or whatever. But this idea that you're going to bring those same people back, you're going to continue to reward them. Why would they change their behavior? I'm not going to change it. You're going to give me millions of dollars, which I don't know what these people make. But
and it shows the masses through the programming of television that's normal. That, you can do some hella racist shit. You can be a Karen. You can call the cops on somebody for no reason. You can besmirch their good name. You can terrorize them. You can assault them. You can, and then you can expect for them to not say shit without having retaliation on them. And then you can expect to be forgiven without doing anything that would warrant forgiving, and expect to have a job and a spinoff later because you're privileged.
Correct. And that's part of the reason that I was saying, just not to tie Potomac into it, but there were lots of people who were mad at Candace and Wendy whenever they were like, oh, they gave you this platform to say colorism and point it out or whatever. And people were like, they had an opportunity to say something and they didn't say anything. But I'm like, I felt from the beginning, it is not their job to point and point out racism or any type of colorism. It is not their job. Their employer, Bravo, is the one that they're supposed to go to, which from my understanding,
and they went to them, and for them to throw it back in their laps was
correct.
very,
which is ludicrous to me. And then, like I said, I've said this on my channel, other channels. I'm just kind of like, Bravo is implicit, in my opinion, at this point, because you are doing things intentionally. Like, we're going to show and we're going to highlight everything that the two brown girls do. We're going to highlight everything that they say that's wrong, bad, mean, whatever. But we're not going to highlight any of the stuff that the light, bright, close to white with green eyes girls are doing at all. So to me, that makes it institutional racism, because that means you've taken part now in the perpetuation of this BS, and you act like these people are supposed to sit there. That's why I'm not mad at Candace for leaving. People are like, oh, she got fired. I'm like, y'all just want a reason to say this. It's like y'all hate her, and now that she gone, y'all have to figure out a way to just be like, okay, we're gonna take that from her too. She couldn't have possibly left on her own. She couldn't have possibly done this. She had to have been kicked out, because you just want to malign her and continue to do it. But that's what I'm saying. It's not shocking to me with this show that I don't know much about, this Vanderpump Rules show. It's not shocking that what you're saying is happening, which is, let's give the people who are problematic, these people who are doing this person wrong with all the stuff you've named. I didn't watch the show, so I don't know about it. But if you've maligned this young lady, if you've ruined her career, if you're doing all these things, and it's on tape.
Yes.
It's on tape. How is it that you still are cool with saying, let's sign a contract? Let's sign our name. Bravo.
Yes.
Let's sign Bravo, Truly Original, NBC, and whomever else. But think about it too, though. Who did they have? NBC had Donald Trump as a main show. What was his show?
The Apprentice.
Oh God. The Apprentice, right? For how many years? Anyways, so to me, if you have the top dog having this crazy man at the top for however many years, this is not shocking to me. Even though it's shocking to me that you would be willing to go on camera and say these things on tape, like you will have no consequence. That is what's already in their brain. So why would they not do it? They have every reason to believe that they won't get in trouble. And then now you're rewarding them with more. Girl, I can't. Sorry.
And that's why I started with, I don't know if you were here for the initial tape that I played of Dr. Joy DeGruy. And hey, Allie, of Dr. Joy McGrew. And she was talking about just the place that this deep racism against Black women in particular stems from. And it's like, it goes back to the whole slavery thing and that colonial and everything like that, so
it's crazy. We are, I feel like, my personal opinion, and just even some of the stuff that is even going on in my life right now. Like, I was saying, that I wasn't feeling well, because I'm not well right now, but like last week, this really just tripped me out, because it's the healthcare system that is so asinine. But I went the other day because I've been in this extreme pain, and I went to go talk to the surgeon, because we have all this information now about how I should move forward. And it was crazy to me, because I'm driving there, and I called my husband. I'm like, oh, I'm in traffic. He calls them, and they're like, as long as she's here by 11:15, no matter what, if she's here at 11:16, we're not going to see her. I promise you, I got there at 11:11, meaning in front of the lady. This is just the healthcare part of it. That's racist as I don't know what. I was there 4 minutes before the time they told me. And these people, I'm standing there crying. I'm like, I have been in pain since 3 a.m. My husband's been with me. It's a mess. And these people were like, nope, we're not going to let you see. Even though they told me that I should be there on time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do you do this to someone? Like, you're in healthcare. But I had 3 years of this a few years ago. So it's just like, how is it still going on? So that's why I'm so tied to the whole racist part of it. Because it's like, as much as I sat around and like, this isn't race, this has nothing to do with race, This has absolutely nothing to do with race. Here I am still battling these systems, and it's annoying. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? But
Right.
it's the crazy part was the office that I went to was a whole bunch of old people because it was like an ortho place or whatever. And four of the white people came out. These people are all over the age of 80. I'm kneeled in the corner crying because I'm so angry. Not crying because I'm hurt or in pain. I'm crying because I'm so angry that you could treat me this way in front of all these people. That's
Yeah.
why I feel like the same thing with this show. It's like, how do you feel so comfortable treating people this way on TV, on tape? How do you do that? It's because you have a system that
Supports
backs
that.
you. That's what I was going
Yep.
to say. That supports you, and you don't have a reason to change. Why would you change?
Exactly.
So
Especially when even we have been conditioned and programmed to help them not change by calling it microaggressions and
correct.
giving them time for another committee before they figure out how much money to run
Facts.
my ass. And by
Facts.
giving them, another day to like think about it and
Yeah.
come on, let's talk about it. Or
That's
for
why.
us to like really consider that when they march next to us, when somebody of us gets, and that they're really a true ally when they have done nothing to try to help be an ally within the system that they get to be privileged of. Like, it's like, come on now.
That's why I wasn't mad at Garcelle when she told what is her name, Dorit, when she was like, it's not my job to educate you. Because normally I'm a social worker, I'm always trying to be, like plug people together. How do we make this a better situation? And exactly what you're saying. How do I nice it up for you so that way you don't run away and you're like, okay, well that's okay. I don't want to be a part of it or whatever. Trying to hope that you'll be a part of the conversation and help us, change things. But I'm happy Garcelle was just like, nope, I'm not here to educate you. And it's right, because why should I have to do that? You're a whole grown ass person. Like, I can't understand why I still need to tell you.
You pay taxes. Come on now. You pay taxes.
Sorry.
Do your own fucking research. Why that's wrong.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. It's bananas. But it's sad that we still have to sit here and have this conversation. That's why I put in the chat. I'm like, how is it that in 2024, people still allowed to fix their brains to think that I'm less than simply because I'm brown? How do you still think that? How? You have all these advancements. You have all of this proof that these people, and not that you should have proof, but you have all of this proof. And you still think in your mind that because of what I look like, I'm less educated. This is what I said. Even I put this on my channel about Dorit too, because I was like, if Dorit walks into Saks Fifth Avenue, they're gonna think she's educated. She comes from a 2-parent home. She's probably married. She has kids, not a baby daddy. Okay. And that, she owns a home. She has a job. She probably is, has a college degree. If Garcelle walks into that same Neiman's or Saks or whatever, she probably is a single mom. She might have been on welfare. She probably isn't uneducated. She's underemployed. And you don't have to say a word. These are the things that people think of you simply because you walked in the door. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's like irritating to me when you have these people, like the people on this show, that think that, not even the people on the show, I'm thinking more about the people that produce the show. Because why would you produce a show and have no color? But you have this one lady that you say, that she's the brown person. She's supposed to represent all of whoever. And then you mistreat her, and then you wonder why she's suing you. How dare she?
Right.
It's just like, what?
And then you call her every time you hear she's gonna speak up for herself, and then you call her and dissuade her and threaten her some more.
It's all the audacities. I'm like, did they give them away? Did they give them away today? Like, I don't know. I don't understand how this is the thing. It's like, how do you do this on tape? It's just, I can't. I don't understand how you woefully ignore and go out of your way to pretend as if you don't know what's going on. I don't get it. It's almost like they don't think that, I guess I was going to say that they don't think that they're going to get in trouble, but I'm not even talking about the people who are actually carrying out the racism or the whateverism that's going on this television show. I'm talking about the people that are watching it, meaning the producers, the people that are encouraging it, the people that are in the editing bay saying, yeah, we can still play this on TV and it's all good. Like, part of it is, I'm glad that you're playing it on TV, that you're that ignorant, I guess, on some level, to play it on TV. But then maybe you're like, maybe we'll expose it. I don't know their thinking, but it's like the fact that you continue to give these people money to continue to have this behavior. That's the part that's mind blowing to me. Like, you
Right.
really don't see the setup for the lawsuit. Like, that's the part that I don't get. Like, you think that these people, you're gonna have this egregious, continuous, egregious behavior, and you think nothing's gonna happen. That's why I'm not even mad anymore at Nene, because at first, not that I was mad at her, but I was just kind of like, she felt to me kind of like the disgruntled employee, like, okay, they won't give me what I want, they won't kiss my ring anymore. But now I'm like, now they're coming for the host, the face of Bravo. So now, and because I know he felt like he was untouchable, and in my opinion, Nene is the reason Bravo and Andy were able to walk. I feel like she started it all. Like, I feel like even though her show wasn't the first one, her name is synonymous with Bravo. So I'm like, now Andy Cohen, they're coming for you, and I don't think he's gonna get out of it. I don't. I feel like his hands are in everything,
Right.
and he's gonna get it. I really do think that he's gonna be the dragon that takes it all the way down to the ground. I think it's gonna be him that burns it all the way to the ground, because even Bethany, and I'm not the biggest Bethany fan, but even Bethany was over here like, something ain't right. Like, I know Bethany is one of the most intelligent people you'll ever meet. Personally, that's how I feel about her. Even if you don't like her, she's a quick-witted lady. She's no dummy. So for her to sign her thing to it, but even though she backed off, that let me know Bethany has watched everything go and come, and she knows exactly where all the bodies are buried. And that's why I think they probably paid that. Like, they did something to her, because Bethany came out like, yeah, I'm about to help everybody.
Yeah,
and
like,
very
I'm like, what
quickly
happened?
after, it just seemed like she put a whole muzzle on herself. It was just like, yeah, I'm good. Which was bizarre, because she seemed like she was coming to Andy, right? Am I crazy?
No.
That's what I thought. But anyway, I'm sorry, I'm taking over. I apologize. Sorry.
No worries. That was all great input. That was great input. We appreciate the POV sharing over here. Allie from Miami.
Hey, how you doing, Curves?
How you doing? I'm excellent.
I'm doing good. I'm just saying that it's a shame that this young lady Faith had to come out how many years later with a lawsuit. Because if you look at the timeline, this all came out the same time when Nene was already saying something was going on in Bravo and her, and was up with the racial allegations, and they're not talking about it, and how she felt like she had to be quiet. And, back then everybody was calling Nene like disgruntled because she was coming off the show. But you remember, when she was coming off of Housewives of Atlanta, she was supposed to be on another show called Glam Squad on E! So it wasn't like, Housewives was her only check at the time. But when Nene finally said, enough is enough, I'm not going to take this anymore, I'm going to speak out, they canceled that,
Yeah.
But it was something what was going on. And I felt like the Lady Faith probably should have said, like, if they did that to Nene, how I'm going to come out. So I'm glad she decided to come out now. But this is like years back already, when that's why Vanderpump Rules was on that hiatus for that short amount of time, to try to clean up the mess, because what was going on with George Floyd and what was going on with Nene, it was coming out to be too true, and they wanted to make it seem like, no, Nene's the crazy one, she's disgruntled, she's upset, it's all an illusion, don't believe her. And now here years later, everything that Nene says is true, is validated, and now people are coming.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, but it's sad it had to come to that. And that's why I said in the chat, they don't need to pay her an apology with words. They need to pay her an apology with money.
Right.
That's the only way these folks are going to be held accountable. They felt like they could do it over and over.
Like, how much money did they make during those episodes of besmirching her name? Like, she needs reparations for real.
And then let's not pretend, NBC is an old company. It's back from the radio days, along with ABC and CBS, back in the radio days, 1900s, 1910s, 1930s. So throughout the decades, they've been telling you exactly how they operate. Just because the CEO has changed doesn't change those issues are still playing today. You know, none of this surprised me. That's why I felt like everybody, even if you didn't like Nene or you felt, well, wait, we should have went behind her. And then that way other people would have came out too. And then, you know, really hold these companies accountable. But as soon as we felt like, oh, we don't like the messenger, that's why we're not going to back her up. I think that made things worse, and then it allows what I call the machine to continue to do their foolishness.
Yes.
And I love Bethany too, but I did remember Bethany was arm in arm and happy with Bravo, happy with NBC, happy with Andy Cohen. But I don't know if you remember, she was supposed to have another show, I think of 2 years back with Kevin O'Donnell, the one that from Shark Tank on CNBC. Yes, it was supposed to be on CNBC. It was a whole thing. They were doing the promotion for it and everything. But I don't think it came through. But no one's calling Bethany bitter when her show didn't come through. And all of a sudden she came up with this lawsuit. But when Nene comes out, oh, she's bitter.
Yeah.
Well, I think too, I'm sorry.
No.
I was
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, in my opinion, I think Bethany and Nene, for my purposes, I do think that they were two of the most, probably I would say, polarizing forces on Bravo. Like, they came on the scene and people noticed them. They left a mark, this, that, and the third. I would say the biggest difference outside of Nene's skin color is that Bethany, you know, they created that Bethany clause after Bethany came on there and made $160 million or whatever it was. They were like, oh, we ain't doing that again. But I think the difference is, to me, aside from her skin color, is she's sitting on a whole pile of money. And she could afford to do absolutely nothing. She could afford to sit over there and talk on her podcast and whatever else. And Nene can't. Plus, Nene, even though Bethany is just as vile sometimes, in my opinion, with how she says it in a different way. And there's a different audience paying attention, unfortunately, than there is for Nene. But that being said, Atlanta is the only franchise that because I watch most of them, that I would religiously see people who don't watch any of them, that don't look like me and you, people that look other, that would watch Atlanta, and they would be like, we only watch Atlanta. Many white people that I would see. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. So that let me know that there is a broader audience that's watching Atlanta. Plus, I think they were number one for however many years. But the thing I think with Nene is, this is just my personal opinion, I do think there's race all over it, but I also think that the way sometimes Nene played her hand, it wasn't necessarily to Bravo, it was to the other people on her show. So for example, when you can be a certain way towards a person that everybody cannot find fault with, like Cynthia Bailey, when you can go on TV and be like, you know that your bag is way bigger than Cynthia's, you know that Bravo is going to give you a check and everybody else too. Why do you go on TV and say things like she's not doing nothing, this, that, and the third? And I'm not saying she doesn't have the right to. She can say whatever she wants. But I'm saying, then when you come and you sue Bravo, then it's like, people feel like, well, you did this person wrong, you did that person wrong, you did this person wrong. You know, it just seems like it's less about Bravo and more about you being bitter when you don't get your way. And that's the only reason I'm bringing Cynthia up, because when she didn't get when Cynthia kind of went against her, so to speak, that's Nene not getting her way. So then now you're dead to me. Same thing with Marlo, same thing with all the other people, Kenya and whomever else. I think people like me, even though I can see the bigger picture, I'm looking at her like, well, if you treat your friends like this, what is it for you to decide to suddenly turn on Bravo? Even though everything she's saying has validation, because we saw it with Kim Zolciak. I do think the audience looks at it differently than they do Bethany, because if you followed New York, it felt like Jill was the villain and Bethany was this person who, you know, was
the villain the other day on that Mediterranean below deck.
Right.
Ooh, she was a horrible passenger.
Correct. So everybody loved Bethany. Plus, Bethany was the poorest of the people on that franchise. And then she was like fighting Goliath because of the fact that She came, nobody really believed in her. Skinny girl, Luann laughed in her face at that, I forget wherever they were, and she had that skinny girl car and it was red, and she's just like, oh my God, you have that car and it's wrapped, and just laughed at her like she ain't gonna be shit, like, to be completely honest. So that's why I think people favor, in my opinion, Bethank, because she was the underdog of all underdogs. I feel like people love Nene because she's just likable. Bethank isn't likable, in my opinion, in that same way. She's witty, she's funny, she's whatever else, but she's sarcastic as hell, and it takes a certain type of person to really like her. Nene is the fun girl. She's fun, she's likable, everybody likes her. You know what I'm saying? So with Bethank, it's easier to say we're gonna back her because she just seems like the person that came from nothing and overcame, even though we know she has a father who had money and all that. She just seemed like she overcame so much. Whereas Nene seems like she stepped on the scene, very likable. She was.
I don't know. Remember, Nene was a stripper. That's how she got Greg. She was a single mom.
That's what I'm saying.
He has an entire kind of backstory that I feel like
Nene's the people's champ, though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like everybody likes her. So it's kind of like, I felt bad that she kind of, in my opinion, set herself back by appearing to not care about her friends. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, I still love Nene to this day with all of that.
Are you willing to at least concede that Nene treated her friends how they treated her? I mean, like,
I don't think
when she did finally turn on Cynthia, in my recollection, it was around the time that she was doing that kind of between flip-floppy thing. And she had said some things had happened off camera too that had formed her difference of opinion. And we always have to remember that when people ask shady questions and you answer them, that, hey, all you did was answer a question. It wasn't like she went on a campaign the way we just listened to those tapes of those white people go on podcasts and make up complete lies and bullshit, without a question. Nene was like literally answering a question about who gives the least. She was like Cynthia. So
no, I get that. I do get that. I agree with you, but I also know this. I've had media training. I've been on TV. Like, I understand that Nene understands that even if she answers this question, she knows they all sit there. They all gravel when
sometimes she does go who.
Right. But Nene is excellent at that. Think about it. Remember she went on Charlamagne's show or whatever, and they were like asking her about who's famous. I think they were talking about Giselle or somebody. And she's like, no, I don't know that person. Like, she got so many views and hits from that. It was just like Nene's back in one interview. So it's like she has that it factor and she knows it. She knows that she's worthy and all that. I'm saying I wish that she would have played the game better. I wish that because I feel 100% certainty. Had she not done that, had she played the game the way she should have played it, in my opinion, I don't think Cynthia Bailey would have ever said anything on like that about her. I just don't think so. I think if they would have asked Cynthia Bailey, because she has grace, we just got to call it what it is. Nene fights the fight, but then she still has a good heart. That's the thing. She still has a good heart, so she's able to win back her friends. Think about all the stuff she said about Kim Zolciak, Cynthia, Phaedra, and everybody else, and they all still love her because she has that ability to just come back and be like, girl, I'm so sorry, and then just love you to death, and then you just like, okay, fine, whatever. Nene's the girl that gonna show up 3 hours late to your party, but she gonna show up with the margarita machine and the alcohol, and you're just like, okay, fine, let's hug her. Like, that's her. Even though you know she's in the wrong with what she said and done, I don't think she's wrong internally, meaning you have the right to feel however the hell you want to feel about however your friends treated you, right? Yeah. Just every right to feel however she wants to feel about Candy, all of them. I just think when you give the world that, you can't take it back. Oh, and I feel like
people in the garage sells too much.
Oh, cute.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me.
You like it too.
But no, I think like the world, like the Bravo sphere, I feel like the fans, so to speak, a lot of times can be like football fans. Like, they down for you 10 toes down and they not changing.
Well, also for the those Carlos King shows too, like those Love and Marriages over there.
Correct. And they don't know how to like disengage emotionally from the person that's on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they've been with this person and down with them and they're not going to change. And people, I'm like, these people don't even know you. But I I do think Nene deserves another chance. I do. I know it's never going to happen. I know it's never going to happen. But Bethany could get another chance. I promise you. She's going to have 3.
Well, and that's the
before it's
thing.
all
We
over.
should. I feel like the issue and part of what I hope we can transition from is knowing that when a Black person calls out the racist, that they are, oh, you're never going to work again. You're never going to come back over here. Like, because, oh, how could you? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that is too much power in the retaliation side. And I feel like that's what needs to crumble, is the whole notion that she should be punished further after having endured, went through the proper channels and told on what was happening in real time with no satisfaction, to only be forced to try to go a legal route after feeling like not getting work and being blacklisted and having like people talk about how much she was going to get paid without her being in the room. And I mean, there were so many things that she went through that I don't know that in her particular case, we shouldn't get normal about saying, oh, we know she's never going to work again, because that's not right. She shouldn't be punished further.
I agree with you. But think about this too.
But we as Black people are conditioned. It's part of our microaggression training. It's like, oh, okay, that was a microaggression when it was flat out racism, macroaggression. And oh, because I called it out, I know I'm going to expect to get treated this way. And by proxy, my contemporaries know and expect for me to get treated this way, because they're also in shock that I call my boss a racist, because a lot of them don't have the nerve to do that shit. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I just feel like we could be doing ourselves more of a service overall if we do engage a different outcome expectation in cases like these, so that when the new thing starts happening, we're like, oh yeah, I expected that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Instead of all
No, I agree with you, but I also think too, like, to me, a big I don't know if misnomer is the right word, or if you guys watch Beverly Hills, but if you guys remember whenever Erica cussed at Jax at that party, she's like, get the fuck out of here, you know, whatever it is that she said, which is highly inappropriate. And it's disgusting on every level. In my opinion, that whole situation should have been a whole situation, especially how it elevated to social media and all of the things that came as a result of that. And it, to me, the bigger piece of it is you have 4 cast members sitting on a couch laughing at what happened to this young man, this
on camera
young man,
again, with the whole audacity, and do it on camera.
Right. And that's my point. Like, even with Erica, right? Erica knew, I think, immediately, because Erica's from the South. I think she immediately knew. But I don't think just because they're not from the South, they didn't know. I know that they're grown-ups and they knew that it was wrong. But what I'm saying is, Erica at least had enough sense, whether or not someone told her or not, I don't know, but she at least had enough sense she was like, I'm coming in and I'm apologizing as soon as this Black lady sits me down. Yes, I'm wrong. I was sorry. I'm wrong. Whatever. I just thought it was so fascinating that even in that sense, Kyle Richards is sitting there trying to let Erica out of it by saying, oh, well, she was drunk and she was this, that, and the third. Even though you just sat on the couch with 3 other grown-ass people over the age of 50.
Because they all engage in the system of white supremacy, and that in those actions, that's all part of this, like, this like silent society where they are constantly covering and enabling each other to engage within the privilege of the system that they benefit from. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's so freaking deep.
Exactly. But that's my point. It's less about the 4 people that are sitting there. It's the fact that I know that the producers said, go and have this conversation, because we're all mic'd up. People don't get mic'd up for no reason. So we're all mic'd up. We all have a camera crew. We're all filming this. She's sitting there laughing about, did you guys know? That's the deeper part of what I'm saying. You have these actors sitting there having this conversation about something that's truly heinous. And it's all good for y'all to play this on a TV show and not have a whole segment, or really beyond a segment. Y'all need to have a whole ass conference behind the scenes with, we're not tolerating this type of behavior ever. You know what I'm saying? But you don't. And it's evident that you don't. How do I know that? It's because the next season you sitting in the Las Vegas hotel And y'all all sitting around, and Garcelle is saying to you, just saying, listen, I'm not sure that I was
trust
being
you, yeah.
genuine with you guys last night. I know that I wasn't, but I want to be honest and say I'm still not okay with it. And this bitch can sit here and act like it's on you that she didn't. Girl, I cannot. So
Her
it's
and her
just kind of
fake
like
PTSD. What do you think, Allie?
you're annoyed by
I
me
think
telling you that I'm wronged. Y'all wronged my son, and it's still hurting me. You know?
Yeah, let's get Allie's thoughts. What do you think, Allie?
I get a lot of levels on that too, because it's, you always have to remember that, you know, production like to show drama, but they get to pick and choose what they put on the screens. Do we have to see what Erica said to Jax? Absolutely not, because they could say, hey, this is going too far, and we could just left it on the editing floor. And I want to make you guys understand is too, when it comes to racism, you have to think about our young children. When they get to a certain age, like teenagers, and they no longer look like little babies, how quickly they expect our young daughters and our young sons and treat them like adults. It is really disgusting that these two grown men and these two grown women who are probably older than what are mocking this 14-year-old boy because he's probably close to 6 feet tall. Forgetting he is still a boy. Meantime, when Portia was having the issue online, all of a sudden we're supposed to be reminded, quote unquote, she's not a child. Well, Jax was a child too. Jax is still a child. He's not 18 yet. We need to stop making our young Black children, when they hit teenagers, treating them like they're 30-year-old adults. That is wrong. So that, to me, like I said, they could have easily edited it. And that's an issue when it comes to what I call the machine. Production, executives, they have full control on how they want to play, they have to play on the show. They start whatever conversation they want to start. They could tell them to stop whatever conversation they want to stop. They could pick and choose on the editing what they want to show. And they chose to show the things a lot of times to show us in bad light. I want to even press on with Nene. Yes, Nene looked like she was a bad friend to Cynthia, but did they show the counterpart of what Cynthia did to Nene?
Right.
Or did it? We don't know if it never happened or if it's on the cutting room floor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a question. Did it never happen or is it the cutting room floor? And then I just know that when I saw Ultimate Girls Trip, with the very first one, we did get inklings on how Cynthia actually acts. Because Nene did say, you don't know Cynthia. You don't see the real Cynthia. But in Ultimate Girls Trip, we started seeing the real Cynthia. Oh, how far we did. They, Bravo them protected Cynthia, in my opinion, to make her look like the docile friend so they could villainize Nene. But now when Nene was gone and there's no counterpart for you to bounce on, they decided to make you look like the crazy one so quickly. So that's what I'm saying. We have to remember that this show is for entertainment so they could sell viewerships, which means to have advertisement rights. It's not about really showing real life. Reality TV is not reality. It's for entertainment. And we have to say we don't know what's playing on behind the scenes. So I'm never going to fault Nene for saying what she felt like and her experience, because that was her experience. Just like with Cynthia's friend, they probably had a bad falling out, but we only saw what we were able to see. We never know how ugly it got, and that's why. And then if you just like you said, a person could easily, if they ask a shady question, they're going to answer it. How many times these ladies were asked shady questions when the thing happened with Bravo, and they said, "Do you agree with Nene?" What all of those ladies did, they decided to side with the other person instead. But then when it's happening to you, like Kenya Moore, she felt like she's being discriminated against. Well, why didn't say anything when they asked the first time when Nene asked the lawsuit? She even have to admit she loves Nene. Nene is great for TV, right? Exactly. But never say never, because not to rabble too much, but remember Monique when she went through her whole allegation with Netflix and everybody swear up and down that she would never work with Netflix again? She ended up getting a show on Netflix because you know why? At the end of the day, executives, CEO, VP, those positions, those people change. So even though the company might be suing, people change. If Andy Cohen left today from Bravo, you don't think they're going to pick up Nene the next week?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Because I'm pretty sure how many times the CEO for Bravo have changed in the last 5 years. They don't last more than 3 to 5 years. That's not a lifetime career. Same thing with the VP. You could see that they want her there. I could tell that they probably are over it. Is the only person that's not over it is Andy. And now you're realizing every 5 minutes Andy's in the news for something controversial. That's not an accident. That's the machine acting again. They said we over it. If you're not over it, okay then, but we're over it. Don't be
Right.
surprised to see Nene on Bravo or E or NBC as if nothing happened. You just never know. They don't, because it's at the end of the day, you have to remember the only color these people respect is green. That is not white, not black, not brown, yellow, green. That's all they care about. And once you understand that language, how to talk money, you'll be surprised what these people will or will not do. That's why I can't really get into entertainment, because you have to sell a little bit of your soul in order to make that money. These people are really deep in the darkness as far as I'm concerned. But that's all they care about. How much money I could make off you, make with you, so I could be rich. They will sell their own firstborn just to make a few dollars. So these are a different set of people we're dealing with. The machine. But again, it is a lot. It is a lot.
It is. And I appreciate all of our willingness to discuss this. I mean, it's not easy to be melanated in society and be African American or wherever your DNA thing said you came from. With melanin, a lot of this good melanin that protects us from the UV rays, that enhances us in so many ways, that they use in military stuff in science. Ask me how they gets there. Ask me how you get melanin to use in your experiment. You guys Google that shit. It's real. There's so many instances for our melanin to be abused. And so I appreciate your willingness to talk about the trauma that we've experienced as melanated goddesses in this, realm. And because it's not easy, we could have not talked about it. We could have ignored it. We could have done a lot of things, but we chose to engage. And I feel like this conversation overall will be a healing conversation to the vibe that we're sending out, And I appreciate both you guys for coming through today. Let me move this thing, because you have a channel, Chanel, right?
I do.
Right on.
I wanted to ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, about this lawsuit that this young lady, I forget her name, I'm sorry, that black young lady. How long is this? Is this recent, like in the last 30 days, or is this?
She just, like, today's the 7th. She filed it on the 4th.
Okay. And so do you guys think, I'm curious, because some things, usually, even with the civil suit, lawyers don't like to go to court. They'd rather settle. That's just the easiest way for them to make the most amount of money.
Well, I feel like forcing this whole, because she asked jury trial demanded. That means she doesn't want to settle with you bitches. She wants it all out on the open.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because that's what my question was. I'm like, because usually if it has validity and they know that it does, they will go ahead and settle and just move it along so that they can get it out of there. But if she says she wants to, have it all out in there, interesting.
On the front page, under all of her things.
But you have to remember too, because she does work with Bravo. Her contract could be the same like Nene's. She have to go to arbitration first before she could go to trial. And that's and if it's not in her contract that she have to go to arbitration, then she could do the lawsuit. But remember, lawsuits are very expensive, so if she has the money to back it up to go straight through a jury trial, then I wish her the best. But let's see before.
Well, that's what she got on the 3rd. So in the very beginning, we only got to page 7 of 28 of her thing. Let me hurry up and show us again. But it did say that on the 3rd, she got a thing that said she has a right to sue. And then she sued on the 4th. So after she had expedited all administrative remedies or something like that.
And I was going to say too, like, everything, just because it sounds a certain way, it's not always that. Because, you'll hear people say, oh, well, if they have a I forget what it's called. What are rich people, especially famous people, they'll have you sign this document that says, you can't say anything. Oh, I forget the name of it. But people feel like,
NDA.
okay, say it again.
NDA,
An
non-disclosure
NDA,
act.
right? So they'll feel like, oh, well, I can't say anything. I can't say anything. But there's a caveat to that. Yes, you can't say anything, but that doesn't protect you against things that are illegal, i.e., whatever P. Diddy is being accused of. So you could have an NDA all day long that says, oh, you're not allowed to say anything about whatever you saw, heard, or whatever the case may be. But you are if those things are illegal. So I say that to say this: even if this young lady has a contract from Bravo that says, you have to go to arbitration first, I can promise you there is some sort of loophole somewhere in there that if she has a good enough lawyer, they can find it and say, except in this case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I hope that she has a good enough lawyer that can do that, because there's always a way out of something. You just have to be smart enough, person to be able to find what that is to be able to execute it.
Well, I hope they do that same thing for Nene, because that's why Nene couldn't go through the lawsuit through the trial, because when the plaintiffs, just to make it easier, went in and tried to dismiss it, they said no, she can't sue us because you have to go to arbitration first before you could do the trial. We have to try to get to an agreement first. And the judge was like, yeah, the way I'm contract, you know what, you have to go there first. So we don't know. Like I said, we have to see when the plaintiff for Faith's case happened, what their dismissal would be, what their motion to dismiss is going to be, and why they felt like they don't have to go through the lawsuit. You understand? Because they have, I think, how many weeks before for a response. And I won't be surprised it would be the same thing. You need to go to arbitration first. Again, with the best of lawyers, that's what they want. They want to keep things in house. So
correct.
We gotta give the next few weeks, because they're going to be. I know NBC lawyers like, here we go again. There's another one. Let's get it going.
Well, that's why I almost feel like they need to class action at this point.
Correct.
Like they need to do something.
Yeah.
Every time I see a new lawsuit for Bravo, I'm like, this is giving Nene's whatever case she had stronger legs. Every single time I'm like, keep on coming out. Yep. I love it.
And what makes it interesting is it depends on what state, because like Nene did it in Georgia, and then they had to do arbitration in New York. And I'm not sure where Faith is suing. Is she suing it? Like, I'm not sure what state.
Isn't that how it was written in her contract? Didn't it say it like it had to be in New York? Because doesn't that seem weird that it would be all the way in New York?
Because I think the reason why is the arbitration has to be done in New York. So that's why Georgia couldn't get into it. That's why I'm wondering if it's that same thing, because it seems like a lot of the Bravo, what I'm hearing is Bravo and NBC seem to have this type of clause in their lawsuits for whatever reason, so that way they could give New York the jurisdiction. But if New York if they can't resolve it in New York through arbitration, then they could go to their home state. And that's the issue, because if you have all these people living in different states, then you don't have the privilege of the same courts hearing the same thing over and over again before someone say, wait a minute now, 4 or 5 came to us at this, different times. Maybe we're going to ignore this arbitration and actually hear this in court, because everybody can't be lying. But because the way how the states work, each state is individual, they don't come together. It's like they don't speak all the time. So that's why.
But I also think too that
it's interesting how our laws work in our courts and the different tiers, where a certain person could be guilty of something, and because the states don't really speak with the courts all the time, it makes it prolonged. It makes it longer.
Yeah.
Right.
And they don't be held accountable soon enough.
Right. And then also too, there's things that it's ambiguous on some level, because you have federal laws that say something is illegal federally, but then state law says it's not illegal, right? So federally, prostitution is illegal, but in Nevada you can have it. Same thing with like the weed and all that kind of stuff. Certain states say weed is legal. Certain states say abortion is legal. And in my state, unfortunately, I have idiots at the helm. But anyways, it's illegal here. But I think too, and I could be wrong about this because I don't know this to be true or not. But I understand that Vicky in California from the OC, she sued Bravo and won, my understanding.
Yeah, in 2019 and got to keep her job, and she's coming back again for another season.
Correct. And then the same thing with, and I know it's a different type of lawsuit, but with the lady from Married to Medicine, I forget her name, Mariah
Hutt.
She also sued them, but that's in Georgia, I believe, as well. So
that's in Georgia.
Is it in Georgia?
And I feel like Mariah took a settlement.
I feel like it's in Georgia.
Yeah, she sued in Georgia. And
but
I
she
think
won.
Somehow they had a settlement. Yeah. I think she had a settlement. I don't think she won. I think they settled. They probably with the arbitration, they settled and they had an agreement, because as soon as she put that lawsuit, it was crickets from her. And again, Nene, and I always wonder why Nene and Mariah didn't team up together, because at the exact same time they were going through the, not a same issue, but having the very identical, similar issues. And then all of a sudden, Mariah just was quiet. But I noticed Mariah has a nice.
I think Mariah
has at the same time. Yeah, but I think it is. I feel like she has a settlement.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I think Mariah did have a settlement, because she still gets her VP her EP check, her creator's check. But she also had a new studio type thing here. And I was like, where do you get that money from? So that's why I think she got a settlement, and then she was quiet about it.
I think Mariah I think this is and this to me is a difference between a person like Mariah and a person like Nene. I do think Nene, even though she's probably just in everything that she's saying, Bravo, Andy, and whomever did, her emotions come out first. And I'm saying that because I'm very similar to her. Like, that's why if I get ready to send an email to my job about something, I'm not going to send it. I'm going to send it to my husband and be like, I need you to rewrite this, because he's going to take all the emotion out and just put the facts in there, And I feel like with Mariah, she shut up because someone told her shut up, but she also has the ability to sit back and say, you know what? I'm going to follow my legal person's advice and sit back and say nothing. Nene doesn't want to feel like this is my opinion of her. I don't know her from a can of paint, but I feel like she does not want to seem like someone has quieted her voice. She just doesn't come across as that person. And I recognize it, because I'm exactly that way. I don't want anybody to think they want on me. You're not going to ever think that. You know what I'm saying? And I think Mariah's, there's two things. One, I think she had a different type of lawsuit because I think they were trying to push her out of a show she created. And I think she set it up from the beginning to not be able to have them be able to do that. That's just my personal opinion, in the ways that I feel like they were able to kind of push out, what's that other lady's name from Potomac? But they kind of have brought her back into the fold. I forget her. Charisse. And then there was another one somewhere else. I forget the other person. And they kind of done that as well, where it's like you started the show and then y'all didn't push this lady all the way out. I think it's because she had those EP titles and all that kind of stuff. They have to, somewhere in her contract is written, I'm going to get paid in perpetuity for the remainder of the time that y'all have this show on, and they killing it right now. Y'all going to pay me. So I think if she kept like banging at them, something was going to happen, and they were going to like do something where they redo the show, kind of like Escape 3 instead of Escape, if that makes sense. It's like, we're going to do something to where we push you all the way out, and it's better for you to sit over there and be quiet and catch your check. But if you notice, Mariah has got a whole new show with that Buffy lady on her new whatever it is, that building that she has going on over there, and she ain't shutting up, but she is being specific in the word choice. So I think she's either out of whatever, or something is happening where she's being more open with what she's saying now.
I don't know. Like, so I'm always going to go for a couple of people, and Nene in this particular situation, I'm going to have to go for again, because she's allowed to have emotion. What they did was fucked up. And she did also she didn't just come out swinging. This stuff's been happening to her since 2012. You know what I mean? She like kept a dossier the way that we're supposed to. And she was able to compile everything And then she went the proper channels and nothing happened. So I don't know if we can really say that. Well, we can say whatever we want, but I don't know that I noticed that it was emotional driven. I feel like it might have been maybe at her wit's end. Where's my respect driven? But I don't know that it was like just full on, oh, I can't control it myself. Let me come out blasting, because she tried being silent for a long time, you know?
I agree with you. I 100%, I do agree with you. And I'm glad you said that. I'm just saying it's just my only
Thing with
opinion
it,
of
yeah.
her, because I do think with her and Mariah, I feel like it's just as sassy, it's just as shady, probably maybe even shadier than Nene. But I'm saying I think that I do feel like her presence is bigger. So anything she says, it's gonna go everywhere. Just like how I was saying, she was on that Charlemagne show or whatever. She just said a few little things, nothing that
Yeah.
anyone else hasn't said that's shady. You know what I'm saying? But it went everywhere immediately.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like I feel like she has a way, and I just think all of the emotions that I'm talking about is very endearing, and I love her for it and all of those things. I
Yeah.
relate to it. But I do agree with you wholeheartedly that because it seems like the crown is heavy and it's bigger and she has a bigger light over there,
Yeah.
everything she does seems bigger. That's why I'm saying for me.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying it just seems bigger, even if it isn't. It seems that way. With Mariah, she, like I said, she has a stinger all day long. I feel like she stung them ladies every single chance she got.
Every chance.
But it's just not, for whatever reason, she just seems more meek and mild, in my opinion. And she's not meek or mild, but
Right.
it just comes across that way.
No.
And I think she also does know, I will say this, I do think she understands the assignment in terms of knowing I probably shouldn't say this because it's going to go everywhere. That's what I think with her. But I think Nene is being mistreated. Like I said, I go up for her every single time. Another lawsuit come, I'll be like, see, y'all think this lady was playing with y'all, but Nene playing a long game over there. She like, this lawsuit is not going anywhere. It is sitting over here brewing.
Yeah.
And then when Bethany came out with her, I was like, what the hell is happening? What is happening? But then that went away too. I was just like, did they get to Bethany? What is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
It's
whatever,
very-
but my disappointment is I hated the fact that it had to be dismissed, that they actually pulled back to arbitration, because I wanted it to go to trial. I
Me
wanted it
too.
to be out in the open. I wanted to
I
see
agree.
the receipts that Nene said she had, and to me, the reason why they fought so hard to have an arbitration, because once it's arbitration, it stays behind the closed door, and we will never find out what she really had, and that's what they want. And so to me, the way they went on with Nene, whatever receipts she had, it was enough to make them like, nah, we need to shut this down.
Yeah.
Every which way possible, we need to shut this down. Which makes me want to know, no, find a way. That's why I would love to, if there's a loophole, she needs to get another lawyer to get it, to really read that contract, or use this time of them not going to arbitration like they're supposed to, so we could go back into the court. I want to see those receipts and
I want
have it on a
to
Zoom
see.
and have it streamed. And I want to see every minute. I want to see Nene on that stand. I want to see all those people on the stand. I want to see all those exhibit 1, exhibit 1,000, just like how they did with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. I want the tea. But you all know NBC don't want that, because this could be bad for them.
But this is my question. Why not just, you know how everything, if you watch any episode of Scandal, what do they tell you? Can we just leak it? That's the part that I don't understand with this whole thing where the receipts that she has, and I agree, she probably does have it. But I'm like, if they leak it, what is wrong with doing that? And I know you're not supposed to, but I'm saying everybody does it every 5 seconds. So I don't understand what it is in those messages if they feel like it'll be taken out of context or something, because I don't understand why she hasn't released something that would force their hand to say, we have to go ahead and settle. That's the only part of this whole scenario that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's because I remember when, like, say, for example, when Amber Heard leaked it, they had to go and check the metadata to make sure it's credible or something like that. So they want to make sure it's not tainted, compromised. Also, too, you don't want too much out there, because if it does go to a jury, you don't want to there's a word for it when they're trying to get the jury. You don't want too much people to know, so when they do go to trial, people can have a non-biased opinion on what happened by seeing the information as fresh as it could be in living time as they do the court, you know? So sometimes it's actually good to keep some things back so that way, you know, I guess like when you're paying cards, you don't want to show them all your cards. You know what I'm saying? You want to surprise them. So by the time when you show them, they ain't got nothing they can't do nothing besides fold and say, okay, I lost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I gotta get out of here. My kids, the sun is out. I love you, ladies.
I love this conversation. Thank you, Curves. We appreciate it.
No worries. I appreciate it. Everybody go through and smash Chanel's reality channel buttons, and Allie from Miami. Go smash her button. She's in the description. And look, ladies, you go out, you have a fabulous day. Be the light that you are. There's enough to go around. Be sure you do that thing where you write down everything you want. The more awesome, the better. And claim it for yourself. And then tomorrow, you can release it into the eclipse, and it's supposed to come back.
Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but
bye,
you write
ladies.
it down a day. You're supposed to write today, and then tomorrow for the eclipse release. So yeah.
Got it.
Anyway,
y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Beautiful.
You too, you guys.
Bye-bye.
And thanks for coming to LRGA Curves, everybody. Make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. Well, go ahead and ring that bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video, so you can become part of the conversation and part of this beautiful curvy community that we're growing over here in the YouTube streets. And remember, there's enough to go around, so go get some, okay? Write it down.